call the October 25th, 2022 meeting of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority to order. Let the record show a quorum is present. Our first order of business is approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Martin with a second by Commissioner Thorson to approve tonight's agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The agenda has been approved 5-0. Our next order of business, item number 3, approval of the minutes of October 11th, 2022. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Chair, just heads up, I think
Yes.
Councilmember Coulter and I are going to be abstaining on this one.
Right. You are available, so it's going to be the three of us this evening. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve the October 11th, 2022 board meeting minutes?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you. It has been moved by Commissioner Thorson with a second by Commissioner Hukim to approve the minutes of October 11th, 2022. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The minutes pass 3-0. Moving on to organizational business, which it doesn't look like we have any this evening, so we're going to go right on to new business. Item 5.1, Housing Improvement Areas HIA application, 8045 Xerxes Avenue South. May we have the staff report, please?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair Lewis. Erica Coleman, HRA Administrator. What you have here in your packet attached to the staff report is a analysis of the application and recommendation, as well as the updated housing improvement area policy and the housing improvement area process. So per the housing improvement area policy and process, staff has provided a summary of application materials and findings for the property located at 8045 Xerxes Avenue South, known as the Heights Condominiums. Staff is recommending denial of this application. And I will go through just briefly the summary of the points of aligning what we reviewed. And when I say we, it was Lori Economy Scholler, the Chief Financial Officer, as well as myself and other staff. After the review of the HIA application request of $3,290,000, comprised of $2,640,000 in fee assessments, and $650,000 in tax increment financing. The criteria reviewed is as follows. A majority of the 30 units are supporting the essential public safety garage and lobby improvements, but are not aware of the full cost that would be assessed to them. The HOA fees are increasing significantly and will need to continue to increase annually to fund future improvements within the reserve study. The Heights application asks for a bond interest rate of 2.7%. On August 15, 2022, the City of St. Louis Park sold HIA bonds for approximately 4.2%. The bond market interest rates will continue to fluctuate as the Federal Reserve increases rates. The Heights requested that the fee assessment remain on the unit with no ability to pay off the assessment during the 20-year term. The city's policy is to allow the homeowners the greatest flexibility and allow that the fee assessment can be paid off anytime during the HIA's existence. Like St. Louis Park, Bloomington adds an additional interest fee for this flexibility. Staff have reviewed the tax increment financing requested and found that with the current market conditions, the tax increment available is approximately half of the request at $325,000. The requested fee assessment amount of $2,640,000 compared to the possible 2023 valuation of $2,950,000 is at 90%. When adjusted for the decrease in tax increment, the fee assessment would need to be $2,965,000 or over 100% of the 2023 valuation. The estimated annual HIA fee assessment per unit could range from $7,563 to $9,229 before adding in other financing costs. That is an annual fee. Due to significantly higher HOA fees, higher bond interest rates, higher construction costs, and excessive HIA fees, these factors are creating an economic hardship to each unit at the Heights. Therefore, City and HRA staff recommend to deny approval of the Heights HIA application and tax increment financing request. I am available for any questions, as well as Ms. Economy Scholler, who is joining us this evening.
Are there any questions? I think we're probably ready for a motion, actually. So do I hear a motion to support staff recommendation of denial for the Housing Improvement Areas application at 8045 Xerxes Avenue South? Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Coulter with a second by Commissioner Hukim to support staff recommendation of denial for the Housing Improvement Areas application at 8045 Xerxes Avenue South. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to item 5.2, Local Housing Incentives Account Funding Application for Affordable Homeownership Pilot. May we have the staff report, please?
Thank you, Chair Lewis. Staff is applying for funding support through the Metropolitan Council Local Housing Initiatives Account, LHIA for short, Affordable Homeownership Pilot, for new construction affordable homeownership development at city-owned property at 8440 Humboldt Avenue South. This is a typo. It's 8442 Humboldt Avenue South, 8446 Humboldt Avenue South, 8452 Humboldt Avenue South, and 1210 82nd Street West. These lots were brought before you previously because these are known as the Right-of-Way Acquisition Loan Fund, or RALPH. I believe that was an acronym that was not very well liked, for property that the city does own, and the HRA will manage the marketing and sale for affordable homeownership opportunities with long-term affordability requirements. And so the application that must be submitted by October 28th, 2022, and it's an electronic web application. And any future development aligning with city and HRA priorities as approved through the HRA assessment recommendations will be to provide affordable homeownership options in Bloomington. So this is really following back up on the HRA assessment, the recommendations, and the direction heard here from this body about the focus on affordable homeownership in Bloomington, and what does that look like. And so here we have an opportunity where we have control over some vacant lots where we could build new homes. And so putting in an application to Met Council, where we would be required to do a dollar-for-dollar match. And so proposing that we use our current mechanism, which is through Community Development Block Grant, where we do have an affordable homeownership activity that we provide up to $75,000 per property. And so the potential here, the ask here, is a match where it could be up to $150,000 to construct an affordable property for a end buyer household that is at or below 80% AMI, with a focus on 50% AMI or below.
Chair Lewis?
Are there any questions for, yes, Administrator Coleman? Commissioner
So is this
Thorson.
program, in terms of like selection and vetting of homeowners candidates, is this going to be done by staff or by another party that is already doing this kind of thing?
Thank you for the question, Commissioner Thorson. That's a great question. This, as proposed, would probably be done by another party that has experience in doing that, developing, number one, but also serving communities that are at or below 80% AMI, first-time home buyers, first-generation home buyers, Black, Indigenous people of color home buyers, but with the input and the partnership of HRA staff.
Are there any other questions for Administrator Coleman? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve the resolution approving application for local housing incentives account funding for affordable homeownership pilot?
So moved.
Second? It has been moved by Commissioner Hukim with a second by Commissioner Coulter to approve the resolution approving application for local housing incentives account funding for affordable homeownership pilot. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Moving on to item 5.3, Geropolis, am I pronouncing it correctly? Geropolis redevelopment update, 9,000 Penn Avenue South and 2325 West 90th Street. May we have the staff report?
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair Lewis. So I had to learn how to pronounce it too. It's Europolis.
Geropolis.
I know that they taste good, that the restaurant is good.
I actually had it for lunch.
So on January 25th of this year, this board passed Resolution 2022-05, which is attached to the staff report, supporting an application for the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, better known as DEED, redevelopment grant program, and potential creation of a tax increment financing district for a proposed expansion and redevelopment on privately owned parcel at the commercial corridor of 90th and Penn. The DEED redevelopment grant is intended to provide funding to assist with complex and costly redevelopment projects that might not otherwise occur without public financial assistance. The program applies only to sites where there was a previous development and significant barriers exist to redevelop the land for a more productive use. The program can pay up to 50% of the redevelopment costs for a qualifying site. Redevelopment costs mean the costs of the land acquisition, stabilizing unstable soils when infill is required, infrastructure improvements and ponding, or other environmental infrastructure, demolition costs, and costs necessary for interior environmental abatement, including remedial activities. The application was awarded funding to assist with the demolition, public infrastructure improvements, environmental infrastructure, and geotechnical soil correction to assist Europolis Investments, LLC, with costs associated with the redevelopment of 9,000 Penn Avenue South and 2325 West 90th Street, better known as Europolis. Staff is reviewing the financial assistance requests for tax increment financing as it aligns with overall city and HRA priorities. The next steps are for the project to go before the Planning Commission, a public hearing at City Council, and approval of financing requests and agreements by the HRA Board before the end of December 2022. So this is informational only. There's no board action proposed at this time, but I'm open for any questions or discussion on this update.
Are there any questions for Administrator Coleman? Yes, Commissioner Hukim.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have a question. I just want to say that it's really exciting to see this moving forward. So I appreciate staff's work on this as well as us approving the application for the Minnesota Department of Unemployment and the DEED redevelopment grant program. So it's just really great. Thank you for bringing this update to us. It's very exciting, and I can't wait to see that development happen.
Are there any other comments or
Madam
questions?
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner
I'm just
Thorson.
curious, is there any kind of information out there in the public yet as to what they're generally proposing in terms of, I'm guessing a restaurant, expansion, new type of restaurant, whatever it might be?
Thank you for the question, Commissioner Thorson. So there is some information. So the owners, Europolis Investments LLC, are very involved in the community and have spoken with different business owners and residents around the area. But also they have gone to development review. They went to pre-DRC and Development Review Council, I think it is, and then they've gone back and they will be going to Planning Commission, which also will be public information. So one of the things in the timeline is that there needs to be a public hearing, and so there will be a publication. There's notification to the county, the school board. So throughout the process, there will be more information, and when I do bring it back, I should have renderings for you so you can see what is being proposed.
Yes, well, I understand how the public process works going forward. I'm just curious I'm just curious if there is anything we know now that is considered public in terms of what is being proposed.
Okay. So as of this time, their application to the planning department is what's public, and the information on what they're proposing is in that application.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments for Administrator Coleman? Well, thank you for that update. As I told you yesterday, I drive by there quite often, and I was just thinking about it. So it was like, worked out very well. Thank you. Moving on to discussion items. Item 6.1, Commissioner questions and comments. Do any of the commissioners have anything they'd like to discuss? Yes, Commissioner Coulter.
Thank you. Just wondering, and I'm just not remembering this at the moment, where are we at as far as new HRA commissioners?
Absolutely. Thank you. So the application is currently open. It has been advertised in the paper. It's also on social media. I have also sent out emails to networks to say, hey, Bloomington residents, apply. Are you interested? So at this time, the update that I had as of yesterday is we still only have one application. And so it is pending closing October 31st, but we can always review that and see if we need to extend it just a little bit longer. As you may recall, our application is open for new commissioners as well as the Port Authority.
Are there any other comments or questions that the commissioners have?
I have one.
Yes,
Now that it's
Commissioner
getting
Thorson.
dark out again, and I drive by Penn and American, and it's a question I've had in the past, and I know it was kind of tangled up, but the HRA did participate in paying for some art,
Yes.
public art on the buildings, and it always looked really nice when you drove by at nights, particularly at holidays, and I'm wondering if there's any progress on trying to see how that public art can be.
Relit?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you for the question. Simply there was not a surge protector. And so what it is that the public art was damaged and it would need to be removed. I think it's about 8 pieces. It would need to be removed, sent out to be repaired, and then be reinstalled. At this time, there was not in the agreement maintenance requirements, and so the property has changed owners since we did our agreement, and so that's where the hangup is who can take care of, in terms of gently take care of physically, but also financially to repair that public art. And so we are still having conversations as we move forward with other things in the Penn American District area.
Thank you. I appreciate that update. I did not realize there was that kind of issue, and certainly financially things are hard everywhere, including in the city and public funds. So I can certainly understand if that moves along very slowly, if not at all. Thank you for the update.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, I am going to move on to item number 7, adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn our meeting? Second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Martin. Oh, jeez. Sorry, guys. I don't want to answer it. I'm just going to hide it. I usually turn my phone off. Of course, I didn't tonight. Now my watch is ringing too. Wonderful. Do I hear a motion? All right.
They might call you back.
I don't even recognize the number, so it's probably one of those wonderful, calls. It's like, sorry, guys. And I yell at people for doing that. It's like, there's nothing more embarrassing. It's like, it's not mine. Okay, try this again. It was moved by Commissioner Martin with a second by Commissioner who came to adjourn the October 25th, 2022 meeting of the Housing and Redevelopment Authority. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.